The skies above Earth darkened as massive alien vessels emerged from hyperspace, their silhouettes blotting out the sun. These colossal ships, bristling with unfamiliar technology, exuded menace. A wave of silence rippled across the planet as an alien broadcast hijacked every device, every screen, and every frequency. The voice that followed was chilling, mechanical yet commanding, underscored by an unmistakable arrogance. Humans of Earth, it began, you stand before the Galactic Empire. Your primitive world has been deemed of strategic importance. Effective immediately, you are required to pledge loyalty, surrender your resources, and provide a tribute equal to 1/10 of your planetary wealth annually. Non-compliance will result in your annihilation. The message was delivered without malice or anger, just cold certainty. Images of distant worlds flashed across screens. Planets reduced to lifeless husks, civilizations burned to ash, and alien species toiling as slaves under the Empire's rule. This was no negotiation. It was a demand. Panic swept across the globe. Social media exploded with fear, speculation, and desperation. In government chambers, leaders scrambled to understand the gravity of the situation. Scientists studied the alien ships, their energy signatures, and weapon systems, only to conclude what everyone feared. The Galactic Empire was far beyond anything Earth could contend with militarily. Among the populace, opinions diverged. Some advocated compliance. Better to live as subjects than die resisting, a prominent politician declared during a televised address. Others, however, were less inclined to submit. Protesters filled the streets of major cities, chanting defiance, refusing to bow. "We are human," they shouted. "We will not kneel." In a secure underground facility, a council of world leaders convened. The atmosphere was heavy with tension, but a sense of determination cut through the fear. "We've faced extinction before," a general reminded them, referring to humanity's history of surviving natural disasters, wars, and plagues. "If history has taught us anything, it's that we don't give in. Ever." The council debated fiercely, weighing their options. Submit and lose freedom, or resist and risk annihilation. In the end, a consensus was reached, a choice not born of arrogance but of conviction. Humanity's defiance, they decided, was not just about survival. It was about identity. As the meeting adjourned, one leader stood, their voice steady and resolute. "We are small, but we are not insignificant. They don't understand us, but they will. We will answer their demand not with fear, but with a word that will echo across the stars." The scene outside the facility painted a stark contrast to the quiet resolve within. On every continent, preparations were underway. Engineers worked tirelessly to activate dormant defense systems. Hackers and programmers collaborated in secret, creating something no one dared name aloud. Across cities and towns, ordinary people steeled themselves, their fear giving way to a collective resolve. As the deadline for the Galactic Empire's ultimatum loomed closer, humanity waited, not with desperation, but with a growing, defiant confidence. The world held its breath, united by the knowledge that their response would not be submission, but something entirely unexpected. The Galactic Empire's envoy returned, its cold, mechanical voice slicing through the atmosphere like a blade. "Humans, your delay is noted. This is your final chance to comply. Submit your tribute and pledge your loyalty, or face total annihilation. Your defiance is futile." Across the globe, every screen, speaker, and device relayed the ultimatum. The alien overlord, seated on a throne of cold steel and surrounded by alien symbols of authority, exuded an aura of invincibility. Its eyes, if they could be called eyes, were unblinking, its expression devoid of any emotion save disdain. The message was clear. Earth's time was up. The ultimatum had been delivered, and now the Empire demanded an answer. But humanity was ready. The reply came not from any single leader or nation, but from humanity as a whole. Across every major network, the transmission began. The image of Earth appeared, vast and vibrant, a reminder of what was at stake. A voice, calm, clear, and resolute, spoke a single word that reverberated across the void of space. No. For a moment, there was silence, as though even the universe itself paused to process the audacity of the response. The Galactic Empire's envoy shifted, its calm exterior fracturing slightly, betraying a hint of confusion. "Repeat your reply," it demanded, though the edge in its voice suggested it had already understood. Again, humanity answered, "No." The envoy's mechanical voice grew colder, tinged now with anger. "Do you understand what you are refusing? Your planet will burn. Your species will be extinguished. You cannot hope to oppose the Galactic Empire." The transmission continued uninterrupted. A montage of humanity's history played, ancient civilizations rising from the ashes of ruin, revolutions sparked against oppressive regimes, explorers venturing into the unknown. It was a reminder not to the empire but to humanity itself. Defiance was etched into their DNA. "We understand perfectly," the voice replied. "Your empire thrives on fear, but you do not know us. We do not submit. We do not bow. Our answer will never change." The envoy recoiled, its arrogance giving way to disbelief. Primitive species had resisted before, but never with such simplicity, such finality. Other species had begged, bargained, or screamed in anger. The humans, by contrast, offered no negotiation. Just a single word. The Empire's emissary leaned forward, its voice now low and threatening. "Your defiance is illogical. It will be your undoing." Humanity did not waver. On Earth, there was no panic, no fear. Ordinary citizens watched the exchange with an intensity that transcended national or cultural boundaries. For the first time in history, humanity was united under a singular purpose. As the envoy terminated its transmission, the alien ships above Earth shifted, preparing for what they believed would be a swift and decisive conquest. On the ground, humanity waited, silent but resolute. They had chosen their path, and there would be no retreat. The battle was coming, and humanity would meet it head-on, unbowed and unbroken. The Empire's ships moved into position, their weapons humming with energy as the invasion began. Plasma beams sliced through the upper atmosphere, targeting Earth's satellites and communication networks. Explosions lit up the skies as the first wave of destruction descended. The Empire was confident in their superiority. Humanity was a backwater species, barely worthy of the effort it took to conquer them. On the ground, humanity's defenses activated. Planetary shields, hastily powered up, absorbed the brunt of the initial assault. Smaller defensive platforms fired back, unleashing railguns and missiles that were primitive by the Empire's standards but relentless in their precision. For every human weapon destroyed, another seemed to take its place, a testament to Earth's resourcefulness. But this was not a conventional battle. Humanity had never expected to win through brute force. Their real weapon wasn't raw firepower, it was ingenuity. Aboard the alien fleet, systems began to falter. Communications between ships crackled with static. Tactical displays blinked out, replaced by error messages in alien script. Pilots and engineers struggled to regain control as their ship's navigation and targeting systems went offline. The disruption was no accident. Months of preparation had led to this moment. Hidden within Earth's transmissions, a carefully constructed cybervirus had infiltrated the Empire's systems, exploiting vulnerabilities they didn't even know they had. The virus spread like wildfire, dismantling the Empire's technological advantage piece by piece. On the battlefield, the effects were immediate. Ships veered off course, their weapons firing erratically or not at all. Entire squadrons were grounded as their systems failed, leaving them vulnerable to human counterattacks. What had started as an overwhelming invasion began to look more like chaos. Human forces, small and nimble compared to the Empire's massive fleets, capitalized on the confusion. Pilots flew daring missions through the gaps in the enemy's formation, targeting critical points with precision strikes. On the ground, soldiers used guerrilla tactics, striking from unexpected angles and melting away before the Empire's forces could retaliate. But it wasn't just soldiers and scientists who fought. Civilians played their part too. Engineers worked around the clock to repair defenses, Hackers coordinated attacks on enemy systems, and ordinary citizens became messengers and medics. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival. They were fighting as one. The Empire's fleet commander, watching from the flagship, could not believe what was unfolding. A species they had dismissed as primitive had turned their own technology against them. For every advance the Empire tried to make, humanity countered with tactics that were unconventional, unpredictable, and devastatingly effective. The turning point came when the flagship itself fell victim to the virus. The shields dropped, leaving it exposed. A barrage of missiles struck its hull, and the massive ship began to falter. The commander, for the first time, felt a pang of fear. This was no simple rebellion. This was a species that refused to die quietly. As the flagship retreated, the remaining alien ships began to follow. The Empire, for all its power, was unprepared for the sheer tenacity of humanity. What should have been a swift conquest had turned into a retreat. The skies began to clear, and the sounds of battle faded. The Empire had underestimated them, and humanity had made them pay for that mistake. The battle was over, but the war had only just begun. As the last of the Empire's ships disappeared from Earth's orbit, humanity exhaled a collective breath of relief. The skies, once choked with the hulking silhouettes of alien vessels, were clear again, but the scars of the battle remained. Cities in ruins, communications fractured, and countless lives lost. Despite the devastation, there was no despair. Instead, a quiet determination filled the air. Across the world, people emerged from shelters to see what remained. Crumbled buildings and scorched landscapes told the story of a world that had stood on the brink of annihilation and survived. Yet amidst the rubble, there were signs of resilience. Survivors helping each other, makeshift clinics springing up, and neighbors working together to clear debris. The battle had united humanity in ways no one had thought possible. In a hastily rebuilt control center, leaders from every corner of the globe convened once more. Their faces were weary, but their eyes carried a glint of triumph. The Galactic Empire's retreat wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. For the first time in the Empire's long history of conquest, a species had refused to submit and won. The decision was unanimous. The galaxy needed to know what had happened here. Humanity's defiance could not remain an isolated act. They recorded a message, one that would echo across the stars. It wasn't a declaration of war or a threat. It was an invitation. To those who live under the shadow of oppression, the message began, spoken in a dozen languages. To those who believe they have no choice but to bow to the Empire's will, know this: you are not alone. We stood against them and we survived. You can too. The broadcast carried images of the battle. The Empire's towering ships brought low, human ingenuity triumphing over seemingly insurmountable odds. But it also showed something deeper, moments of humanity's spirit shining through. A soldier carrying a wounded civilian to safety. A group of engineers celebrating as a critical defense system came online just in time. Children being comforted by strangers in underground shelters. The message ended with a simple but powerful statement. We are not their subjects. We are not their slaves. We are human. And so long as we stand together, no empire can break us. The broadcast was transmitted far beyond Earth, reaching distant star systems, colonies, and species that had long since given up hope. On planets ruled by the Empire, whispers of rebellion began to stir. The humans' victory was more than a military triumph. It was proof that the Empire was not invincible. Back on Earth, the focus shifted to rebuilding. Engineers worked tirelessly to restore power grids and infrastructure. Scientists analyzed the remains of alien technology, searching for insights that could further level the playing field. Farmers and tradespeople resumed their work, feeding and supplying a world that refused to crumble. The Galactic Empire, for its part, did not return. Reports trickled in of unrest within its own ranks. Ships refusing orders, entire sectors rebelling. The humans had not just defended their world. They had sparked a revolution across the stars. As Earth's leaders addressed their people, one message rang clear. The battle had been won, But the fight was far from over. The Empire would regroup, and when they did, humanity needed to be ready. But this time they would not be alone. Standing amidst the ruins, people looked to the skies, not with fear, but with resolve. The Empire had come demanding tribute, expecting submission. Instead, they had been met with a defiance they could not comprehend. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged stronger, proving once and for all that their spirit was unbreakable. The war was no longer just about Earth. It was about freedom for every species, every world under the Empire's control. And humanity, battered but unbowed, would lead the charge.